All right, hello everyone. I just wanted to briefly share. We had a wonderful discussion on the topic of low representation, high demand, the consequences of being a minority, and we had a lot of wonderful discussion and suggestions. I just wanted to briefly share our concrete suggestions to the ICR board. So the issue is that a lot of us got more requests to serve on PCs and other services because we're a minority and so on. So the suggestions are we actually discussed not only this issue but as other diversity related issues. So I'm also gonna share our ideas on that. So the first is to the first suggestion is to increase the number of PC members. For example, the target could be to be equal to the number of submissions. In that case, if every paper gets 3 reviews, then every PC member only needs to review 3 papers. If that's not feasible, maybe we can at least increase the number of PC so that you can lower the workload. And another benefit is that more senior PhD students may be involved. And an important point is that for the PC chairs, when they reach out to, for example, PhD students, a lot of women or minority students might feel that, oh, what if I'm not qualified and so on. So it's important to encourage them and help them through this process for first-time PC members. And then the second one is when you when you send out invitations to serve on PC, besides asking yes or no, also ask if you don't have time to serve on the PC, do you have other recommendations or nominations? Because a lot of times minority people are more aware of other minority people in our community. So maybe it's a good way to get aware of more other people as a minority in our community. Otherwise, it might ended up asking the same person again and again. And it's not just for PC members, but also for reviewers. When you ask for sub-reviewers, you could ask if they decline, you could ask for recommendation or nominations. The third one is we want to provide a guideline for the PC chairs to search PC members. And this covers diversity, not just for women, but also, covers different geographic locations, research areas, races, and so on. So that, because a lot of times it might just be overlooked. So we want to, help them at least be aware of the different dimensions of diversity that you could consider when you select a PC. And then the other thing is to the next suggestion is not necessarily related to this topic, but we want the community of the ICR to help us advertise our women in cryptography community. Like, for example, they have a wonderful website and they have regular events like seminars, coffee breaks, and so on. But throughout our discussion, many women students, especially young PhD students, weren't even aware of this WinC community. So we were suggesting that the ICR could advertise the website to all the ICR members, and also at conferences, whenever we organize events, we hope that the PC, the chair could, the conference chair could advertise the events to the entire conference. Like, for example, in the morning best paper session, they could advertise so that more people would show up. And especially for allies, because whenever you see a women in cryptography events, they might not feel comfortable attending these events. But it's very important that, for any of us to make changes in our community, it's not, our own effort is not enough, and we always need allies' effort as well. And a lot of our allies are happy to help. They just they were not sure if they're welcomed in these events and so on. Okay, and the last thing is we discussed the challenges in traveling to these conferences at Crypto, Eurocrypt, and so on. And crypto is always in the US. We were wondering, does it have to be here every year? Because people from other countries might have challenges getting visa and so on. And there's also a suggestion of having maybe two deadlines. One is earlier, so that they get earlier notification, so that they can plan ahead, have enough time to plan for visa and travel and so on. And then is it really necessary to present in person, especially for those who have difficulties travel and so on? Yeah, these are our summary.
All right. So I guess in the allies discussion, we kind of covered some stuff that's been mentioned before. So I'll try to like not repeat it. And it's not super organized, but I think something we noticed was like it was a lot of younger people in the room, and maybe it would be nice to like encourage the more senior people to attend as well, and you know like the people in like more important positions, so cool. To be here. So I think some people mentioned making it like thematic, like I don't know, like hiring, how to hire like in a diverse way or whatever, like make it thematic and then like kind of try to attract people in that way. Someone also mentioned like it would maybe like if an ally volunteers on the organization team to kind of get a bit more other allies to attend as well, it would be nice. Also, it was mentioned, I think you said that as well, but like to make it really part of the program and not just during the free afternoon so that people don't feel like they're sacrificing something to attend. I'm sorry, I'm brainstorming. And then we kind of had some discussions a bit on the topic of mentor-mentees relationship. We came up with some recommendations and advice. I can list them, like I can read them briefly. So like, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Make sure to ask people how they are and like check on people properly and take time to like make it personal. Possibly do some activities to break the ice like outside the research. I think we all agreed that the CFL escape game was really nice to kind of like get exchanges and stuff like that. Make sure to discuss the boundaries of the relationships, like what can be comfortable to someone might not be to someone else, and do regular checkups at regular moments to see if anything changed. Don't be afraid to accept a no and try to understand the reasons behind it, and also like let other people know that it's okay to say no in like all situations as well. And try to come up with situations where everyone is comfortable and as many people as possible are included. And then we kind of discuss quite extensively a concrete example of like you have a mentor that invites a mentee, for example, to dinner, and in some situations, for example, if it's the same gender, it's usually like a lot more like accepted and you feel more comfortable. So like, for example, in that situation, you can think about like rebranding it, like make it a coffee or a lunch. Make sure to give the person a way out if they're not comfortable, or to include other people so that the situation is less formal, more comfortable, and be mindful of seniority levels. Consider like inviting someone in the middle and things like that. And we have like some other stuff that we discussed, but either it's like already covered or it's like a bit all over the place. But to go back to the point of like getting allies more involved, I just want to say like we have a Discord server, and if you're an ally and you're willing to join and help, for example, with organizing these events, as we said that it would be nice to have someone, you can ping the Women in Cryptography email thingy and we can add you to the Discord, and it would be really nice to have some people ready to help. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So our conversation mostly focused on the code of conduct. So the idea is to see if we can write a document which would replace the single line that we now have as a code of conduct. So the initial point that I think that was suggested and which would be a great starting point is to obviously look at code of conducts that have been written for other big conferences or for AACM, for Usenix, for IEEE. So we briefly looked and they have code of conducts that are way more detailed than ours. So that would be a great starting point, seeing what they did, how they wrote, how they phrased all the messages that we want to have across the code of conduct. Another thing that was mentioned is also, well, the code of conduct, you see it when you register for a conference, but it would be nice to remind people of it. So it is done lightly, I think, during the opening remarks. So during the opening remarks, the general chair can mention adding some examples, perhaps, some parts of the code of conduct, remind people that, you know, these are stuff that one should not be doing, or behaviors that should not be seen at the conference. And also, again, mention that the document, that newly document that we want to provide is available on the IACR website, etc. Something that is also mentioned in the opening remarks is a person of contact. This is something very important. If any one of us needs to contact someone and we don't really know who to contact, whether we don't want to contact our advisor, etc., there is a person which is mentioned at the opening remarks again, but perhaps someone doesn't attend these opening remarks, or we forget because it's the beginning of the conference, you kind of listen with just one ear. So something that has been suggested, and I think it comes from Usenix, is to have perhaps signs. It was mentioned on the bathroom stalls, for example, doors. So like, you know, remember, this is the email or the phone number, or this is the face of the person you can contact. So people are daily reminded that there is a person or multiple people that one can contact. So bathrooms, or also just in the program simply, or in our little badges, we can have a little bit of this information that we have available with us at any time. Then we talked about kind of what we can do. So one thing that we mentioned is that instead of having a focus on, you know, what one should or should not do, the focus could also be given into what can a victim do if it has experienced anything that made that person uncomfortable. So have a list, for example, or at least material that is easily available for someone that needs that information. So focus on how to help the victims, perhaps more than just like writing a document that like aggressively accuses people. I think that was the message through. And then the one last thing that we mentioned is perhaps having a feedback form at the after the conference. So the question was raised as to like the conference ends, you perhaps have, you know, witnessed or been victim of something that happened at the conference, but we're like 1 week after the conference, is that over? Like, is it done because you missed the opportunity to speak up during the conferences? Well, we would like for it not to be the case. So one suggestion was to send anonymous form, so not a Google form, perhaps to all the participants. It can be a simple like, were you satisfied with the different smileys? But more than that, also like, is there anything you would want to report? Or, I mean, obviously there's always that person of contact, which one can always reach after the conference, but perhaps a form that is automatically sent to every participant at the end of the conference, perhaps a week later, 10 days after, would give a way for, easy way for some people to speak up after the conference. And other things that were covered, I think, by the other summaries. So I think that was mostly it. Do you have anything to add? Or great.
Okay, so thank you everyone for coming. I hope you had we hope you had a nice discussions, and of course we also hope you will continue to discuss after today. So don't hesitate to come discuss with us if you have other ideas. If you want to discuss something else, we are here until the end of the conference. So don't hesitate. And also for the code of conduct part, of course, if something happened or if you witness something, and if it takes you 10 days, 20 days to be ready to talk about it, you can talk about it when you want, even if it's a month after. There is no deadline for reaching the code of conduct contact, so don't hesitate
any time during or after the conference, of course. Okay, so but thanks a lot for the discussions, and I really hope we can continue to discuss after today. Thank you.